Hello amazing creative, I hope you are doing okay. I have another creative exercise for you today and we're going to do some fun abstract faces for this one today, keeping it loose and simple. So just grab some papers, some pens and some paint and we can get creating. Now the aim of this exercise is to make some colourful and interesting abstract painted faces, painted and doodled faces. And it's not about perfect faces, so you don't have to worry about making them realistic or pretty. It's just about having fun and some mark making, playing and experimenting, and feeling free to express yourself and your personality with the faces that you paint and draw. So I'm going to start this one with the actual paint side of it. So I'm going to paint in some facial features. I'm going to keep it really super simple mark making, maybe add a quirk here or there. So for instance, like the nose, I could do it as a straight line, or I'm actually going to add a little bit of a sort of backwards L shape here. These little touches can add some fun to the face. Once the nose is in place, I'll then add the eyes, and I'm going to have one on either side of the face because this face is going to be viewed square on, so we can see all of the main facial features. And where you put the eyes is completely up to you. I like to have mine in some of my faces, I like to have them a little bit asymmetrical sometimes, just, I don't know, adds a little bit of a fun element to it. Sort of makes it a bit more abstract maybe. So I'm not going to put my eyes along the same line for this one. I'm going to have one slightly lower than the other, or one slightly higher than the other, whichever way you want to look at it. I'll add some cheeks as well and a mouth shape too. But what kind of features you want to add into your face is entirely up to you. You don't have to put cheeks in it. You could do all sorts of different things with the mouth shape, the eye shape, the nose, as I said. And the other thing I'm putting on mine is a little bit of an outline to the face, but not a full outline for this. I don't want to paint the outline completely in, so I'm just going to add a bit of shadow to the top of the head and to the chin. But this is your time to just experiment and see what kind of looks you want to get. So if you wanted to put the full outline in, go ahead, put the full outline in. I've not put any ears on mine, you could do that. I'm not going to add any hair, you could do that. There's just so many different ways you could go with your face. So really at this stage, I just wanted to imply the facial features. So blobs of colour in roughly the shape of a real facial feature will do. And if you saw my mini abstract face challenge video from a few months ago, we used a mix of geometrical shapes like circles and squares and drips and splashes to imply facial features, whereas this time I'm actually going to go with the shapes that we know of as facial features. So, you know, lines for mouths, lines for eyes and for noses, oval shapes, that kind of thing, if you see what I mean. But you'll see later, you can mix and match both these styles of getting your face set up. But I'll link that video below so that if you want to see that one too, you could. So with the painting of it, with that paint layer, you've just added in some basic shapes that depict your face. And then when it comes to adding the pen layer, then you're putting in some more doodle shapes or even more just plain doodles. To start, if you didn't want to use pens, you could also use pencil or crayon, and that will all do the same job too. Now I'm working on Kraft paper, so this is that parcel paper, and it's just ordinary parcel paper, but this is actually sold in a pad. You can buy them in rolls as well. I've bought this one in a pad, so it's nice and easy to sort of rip a piece off and use it for drawing and all sorts of things. And I love working on this paper as it's relatively cheap and has a lovely base colour to it, and also a nice texture as well. But just like that last exercise with the scribble abstract from the weekend that we've done, you could use anything you want, any type of paper that you've got to hand, so even newspaper for this, it really doesn't matter. Now, I'd already decided on my colour palette when I started my face, so I decided that because I was working on the Kraft paper, that a nice, strong, cool colour palette for the painted part of the face, and then changing up to a warm colour layer for the penwork. And this is something you can sort of mix and match, so you could have it where you do each facial feature in a different colour, or you could have it all as one colour, entirely up to you. So have a think about how you want to do it, what kind of colour you're going to put in here. And I've made my eyes and mouth the same colour, and then the nose and the cheeks and the part outline of the face, they're in the same colour too. So I've got a purple and a blue going on. And then with the penwork I added an orange because I think that works really nicely with that purple and blue paint that's there. And I did let my paint dry before I started adding any pen. And I really like the orange contrast with the paint colours for this. But I think rather than make all of the pen line the same colour, I'm going to change that up as well and go back to using some purple colour too. So some of the purple pen work will just nicely blend in with that paintwork, and then the orange pen work will just kind of stick out, pop out a little bit more from this picture. So as you work through with your pen doodles, have a think about that too. How does the colour of the pen work with the colour of the paints that you've got on here? And don't feel that you have to put in a line everywhere and connect everything up or make everything complete shapes. You can add in some character with your line work, but you can also add in character by not adding a line in places. Not all shapes have to be complete. Like the nose here, I've got some short lines, some crossed over lines, and some incomplete lines. So that's another thing to think about and play with as you build up your face. I wanted my face to jump out some more from that background, and I don't know, just blocking in with a little bit of colour will do that. So I'm using an opaque paint just to block in the outside of my face. And rather than going for a stark white, I'm using a just off-white, which sort of blends quite nicely with the Kraft colour, but also I'm going to add in the warmer colours too, a little bit of orange, touch of yellow, and that should hopefully work really nice with the warm colour penwork that I've got there. So even though this is a really simple piece, you've thought about the colours that you're working on, you've thought about the shapes of an abstract face, but that's the whole point. So this is just one approach. All sorts of different ways you can make some fun abstract face art. And I did a few different ones in that, put the film together for it. So this one, and to some extent this one as well, uses a mix of what I did today, but also a little bit of what I did in that mini abstract face challenge video that I talked about earlier. It's from these two videos. And then this one, like today's project, used blocking in actual facial features to get it going. So have a play with it, let yourself create lots of different and interesting people, give them some names, tell us their story, and I can't wait to see them. So do tag me in over on Instagram as well, and I'll come over and have a look because I would love to see. Look after yourself, and I will see you again soon.